for that introduction. It is a pleasure to be here. And Clay Higgins, you owe me $150. For those of you who have not followed me or for those of you that have followed me on YouTube, you know that I am not politically correct. To the point that I actually taught Donald Trump how to do this thing here. But I made a promise to my wife that there were certain things I would not say and would not do while I'm standing in front of you, so I will keep that promise. But I will say this, I saw a joke on the internet yesterday that was really, really cool. It was a photograph from The Wizard of Oz, the movie. And it had Dorothy standing in front of the Tin Man, and she was saying, how is it you're able to talk if you don't have a brain? And his response was, because I'm a Democrat. Briefly tell you a little bit about me and my organization, and then we're going to talk politics for a minute. Born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Went off into the United States Army in 1985. While I was in service, I served not only active duty, I served in the National Guard as well. Also did a stint in the Air National Guard for a while. My primary mission throughout most of my career was in helicopters. I was a flight engineer on CH-47 Chinooks, if you don't know what that is, big, huge, random, double rotor helicopter, carries troops into battle. We lower the ramp, say, get off our helicopter, y'all go fight your war. We fire up the coffee pot and head back to base so they're ready to be picked up again. So I did that 4 separate combat tours throughout my career. That got me inducted into the Louisiana Veterans Hall of Honor in Baton Rouge. I guess they felt that it was the fact that I'd served in 4 completely separate combat operations, which was kind of unique. And not only that, but there's a display case there with a lot of my military stuff that I brought back that's on display. And I think that my wife wanted to get that crap out of the house, and therefore it was a good place to put it. So if you're ever up at the USS Kidd at the museum, they have also the indoor part, and that's where it's located at. When I came off active duty and medically retired after 18 years in 2004, I went into the VA system. And I found out really quick that the VA system was broke. And today it's a lot better than it was. But that's like saying, for those of you that remember the Vietnam veterans, how broke the system was for them. It got a little bit better. Political wise, it went to hell. And it's that way today, which I'll talk a little bit more about. But because of that, and the way I saw the VA treating veterans, not just myself, I decided to do something about it. So I started a Facebook page where I actually just used it to rant and rave and get my frustrations out and slam the VA for everything they were doing, especially here in Louisiana, down in New Orleans, against our veterans. And eventually a friend came to me and said, you know what, if you took that passion and you just bottled it up and you clean your act up a little bit, and you could really reach a lot of people and do a lot of good. So I did that, and we founded Veterans United for Justice. And today we're helping thousands of veterans, not just here in Louisiana, but all across the country, with everything from post-traumatic stress disorder issues, counseling type services, helping them get through the VA, helping them get through the appeals process, fishing trips, outings, a thing that I like to call music therapy, where everyone has some type of song or some type of music that they can go to just relax and unwind and get away from the stress of what's happening in your life. Well, that's the same thing for combat veterans. And so we have artists that come to us and say, hey, look, we're going to be performing, whether it's in Lake Charles or Biloxi or New Orleans, and we will announce them. We'll bring vets there. They not only get to see the show, they're signing up for music they like, but they get to go backstage and meet the performers. And that has actually worked really, really well, and has helped us change a lot of lives. And so we're very blessed for that, having these artists that are doing that. We've done everybody from, Ted Nugent was one of them. It was during the Obama administration, and what I can tell you is, backstage he talked to us for about 30 minutes, and we never got a word in. It was all about how much he hated President Obama. We did the rock group Kiss, Leonard Skinner, Hank Williams Jr., just a lot of different people. You can see that on our Facebook site, the folks that step forward that really care about America's veterans. So that's pretty much what I've been doing and keeping me busy. Besides helping vets, I'm also a very big law enforcement advocate. I served during my National Guard time with San Mateo County Sheriff's Office out in California. Hello, brother. I was a training officer there for about 6 years, and before eventually retiring and moving back here to Louisiana. To Louisiana and coming to Baton Rouge, and then after I got married to my wife Marilyn, moving here to Lake Charles. Now let me get political with you for a little bit. I had the opportunity to attend last year the MAR 2018 rally in Washington, D.C. And I was supposed to be able to, as their guest speaker, actually sit down and meet with President Trump. And I had it all planned out what I was going to share with him. And what I wanted him to know was the plans that you're putting in place to help America's veterans are outstanding, and we're very appreciative of that. But the VA has been infiltrated by a lot of people that don't like you, that are staunch Democrats, that are very liberal, and at the lower level down here, some VAs are not putting those plans forward. And the biggest one was the Whistleblower Protection Act. Trump put into place to where if a VA employee knew of another VA employee or supervisor doing something illegal or wrong or dangerous, they were allowed to report that and nothing would come, no repercussions. Same thing with veterans. If a veteran was receiving very bad care, they could report the VA employee and nothing would be held against them. In Louisiana, that system isn't working. I'm still fighting to this day a case where a VA employee slandered a veteran. It's also a very good veteran advocate. And we've yet to be able to get this particular VA employee terminated, although I'm still working on it, because it was very, very horrible. And some of the things that he said about the vet are unspeakable, and I'm not going to go into that. But the point I'm getting at is that if the VA organization in a particular area is led by a Democrat or a liberal, they don't care what the president is saying or doing. And of course, we found out that it's the same way with, the Department of Justice and the FBI, okay? Just to name a few. But while I was there, I wasn't able to meet with Trump. He wasn't available that time, so they gave me Kellyanne Conway. I gave her my spill. She assured me that everything I had to say, she was going to relay that to the president, and also she attended the rally and heard my speech. I've yet to hear from the White House, so I don't know if that actually went forward or not. But I will continue to fight for veterans and the way they're being mistreated, not everywhere in the VA system. And trust me, there are some VA employees that are excellent at their job, but with any organization, there's going to be some bad apples. And the VA just happens to have many of those that we're fighting to change. We all watched how bad the liberals and Democrats infiltrated over the past several years. As I mentioned, the FBI and the DOJ and the VA. We watched as someone that everyone in America knows testify in front of Congress numerous times, lie, and factually known committed felonies. That would be Hillary Clinton. And what has been done to this person? Because of the infiltration of, in my personal opinion, of the liberal Democrats in the Department of Justice, nothing was done. We had James Comey get up and tell us in a press conference everything she did, and then why he wasn't going to forward it. And that wasn't his job to do. Not that the DOJ would have made a different decision, but to this day, no one has been held accountable for those actions. Which is why it is so important that we, Republicans, conservatives, step up and band together and do what you're doing right now and spreading the word about what's fact and what's not. Trust me, there are plenty of people on the far right on the internet putting out as much fake information about what's happening in the political scheme across America as there are those on the far left. But you gotta be able to find the middle. I used to tell my kids that were growing up, if you wanna know what's happening on the news, you watch Fox, you watch CNN, you watch MSNBC, and then you use your own educated opinion between that. And that's worked out pretty good for my kids so far. I'm very happy for that. We know that somehow Jeff Sessions was compromised. He did nothing for our president. We found out James Comey was the same. But where did this all start? We can go back and we can look at our education system on the West Coast. California, Oregon, Washington State, bringing liberal teachers, teaching a liberal theology to our students from elementary to college. And then it spread like wildfire across America while we were oblivious. Now we're seeing that. Now we're aware of what's happening in the colleges. Now it might be too late because they have this thing where they're locked in after so many years and you can't get rid of them. We know that because we literally have professors that are doing things and saying things. Thank you. No, it's supposed to be Jack Daniels. They're doing things and saying things that just a few years ago they would have been immediately terminated. But they're not. They're allowed to continue preaching this hate and preaching how our flag is a symbol of racism and teaching how our law enforcement is all out to just hurt people and kill people. It's become, I look at it as, seriously, is this the last generation of hope that we have right now? Because in a child born today, knowing where our education system is at the moment, when they're 21, in or out of college, they will be the future of our country. And what do we have right now that they're going to be faced with? we have elected into Congress in the midterms a particular female, without mentioning names, that if she was saying the exact same stuff during the Cold War, they would arrest her for possible treason. And we're letting them get away with it. It's an ideology that has spread to a point of it doesn't make any sense anymore. And we see it day after day after day on the news play out in front of us. President Trump, when he was elected, I'm sure many of you like me thought, finally, we're going to get things taken care of in this country.
And he's doing a lot.
And too many people just sat back and thought we don't have to work anymore. As it turns out, he can't do it by himself. He has to have us, whether you're on phone calls, email, walking the streets, helping Republicans get elected. You have to be involved, and you have to bring the youth into this as well. So they can reach out to those that, for one reason or another, won't listen to us. I know when I was younger, I didn't listen to my parents very well. Otherwise, who knows, I might be the president today. President Reagan said it very well when he said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. And that's what makes me wonder, wow, his vision back then is what I'm starting to see happening. How do you help? You continue to make a difference by being involved. You continue to do things that are positive for the Republican Party. You continue to pray. You continue to, if you know there's going to be a rally that's somewhere locally, whether it's a prayer rally or, just something to support the president, show up so that our numbers are stronger than the numbers of, I don't know, let's see, the Antifa party that show up and do violence against innocent people. So, in closing, I can't thank you enough for what you do. It is always an honor to be around those that have the same type political beliefs as I do. And I will continue to speak out on YouTube. Those of you who've never watched me on YouTube before, probably now will. I just say it as it comes to my mind when I'm doing these videos. And it's been an experience because I get feedback from Republicans and conservatives and liberals and Democrats. And the feedback that I get from the liberals and Democrats, the Lake Charles PD can confirm that I've had them over to my house many times to look at what's on my computer screen. The hateful, vile things because they don't agree with conservative politics, calling for my death, the death of my family, my dog. It's very, very sickening. They can't have a civil conversation with you. So, for those of you that believe in the power of prayer, I ask that you pray for our military men and women serving in the United States military. They're currently serving right now in combat in harm's way, although you wouldn't know it by listening to the media. I ask you that you pray for our veterans, our first responders, our law enforcement officers. Take the time, if you see them out in public, to shake their hand and thank them for their service. They need that right now. very, very much. Pray for their families, our president, our nation, and ask God to help us do the right thing and always think of the country first, the Constitution first, and all the men and women that have served and died for our freedoms to be able, just for me to be able to be here right now and speak as I am. Because without them, none of it's possible, my friends. Thank you. God bless you. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.